The IRS has certain standard amounts that it updates every April to tell you how much it expects you to pay for various expenses. And if you pay more than that, the IRS considers it a luxury. For example, the IRS has local standards for housing utilities. So you can go down here, click on, wherever you live, Mississippi, and let's just go to Adams County, Mississippi here. Okay, never been there, but just for sake of example, they're saying if you live in Adams County, Mississippi, and let's say it's you and your spouse and your two kids, so you have a family of four, they're saying that you should pay no more than $1,737 a month, okay, for your housing. Now, today we have a question from G Money about this. If my housing and monthly expenses exceed the IRS standards, so let's say that G Money lives in Adams County, Mississippi, and he pays $2,000 a month for all his housing expenses instead of $1,737. If that's the case, will the IRS force me to sell my home and live in a lower housing so it can meet the standards? In general, G Money, no, that's not how this works, okay? IRS isn't going to make you leave your home and move to a lower home. What they will do, though, is when you're calculating your disposable income to see how much you need to pay the IRS, they're, let's say you feel like you're broke, you're living paycheck to paycheck, you have nothing left over at the end of the month. They're going to say, well, G Money, you actually should have money left over at the end of the month. You should have $263 extra left over at the end of the month to pay us because you're paying too much for housing. You're paying $2,000 a month. You should only be paying $1,737. You got to come up with $263 a month to pay us. Now, that could mean you got to kind of downgrade your housing situation, or it could mean instead of contributing to your 401k, you pay the IRS $263 a month. You pay $263 a month to the IRS, right? Or it could mean instead of paying off credit cards for $263 a month, you pay $263 a month to the IRS. Okay. That being said, sometimes it's the case where your other expenses that the IRS allows you, will get you to a disposable income of less than whatever that delta is in your housing expense in the IRS standard. Okay. Don't get tripped up on this. Just do the math, right? Figure out your disposable income. I've talked about this formula, for example, in offer and compromise context in my video on the offer and compromise formula. Now, just FYI, that video I made a few years ago, some of the standard figures in there are outdated. If you want the most recent IRS standards, you can go here, irs.gov/businesses/small-self-employed/collection-financial. Just Google IRS collection financial standards and you'll find it. Okay, and there'll be a link, links to all of them, all the standards somewhere on this webpage, right? The national standards for food, clothing, miscellaneous, out-of-pocket healthcare expenses, local housing utility standards, the vehicle/transportation standards, they're all be there for you to look at and behold and gaze upon, because that's what we do in the world of tax. So, G Money, they're not going to come in there and say, hey, you paid $263 too much in housing. We're going to kick you out on the street and go find a cheaper place to live. No. But the fact that you do pay over the housing expense will count against you when doing the math to kind of figure out the starting point for your IRS negotiations in terms of how much you're going to have to pay them, be that an installment agreement or an offer in compromise, or even when you're trying to get something like CNC status, when your disposable income has to be essentially zero. Folks, if you have tax troubles, if you owe the IRS or your state at least $10,000 back taxes, if you have at least 2 years of unfiled tax returns, please reach out to us at Choice Tax Relief. This is what we specialize in. You can give us a call, 866-8000-TAX. That's 866-8000-829. Or you can go to choicetaxrelief.com, fill out the form on our homepage, and we will reach out to you. I have some other videos here on the left-hand side of the screen for your education and enjoyment. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.